Welcome back. OPM and the General Services Administration both offer agencies resources for environmental sustainability. Some federal leaders are starting to call their approaches to their workforces human sustainability. Kristine Korva is Human Capital Offering Portfolio Leader for Deloitte. Kristine, welcome. It's great to see you. How do you define that term, human sustainability, regarding a workforce in the public sector?
Yes, it's really simple. When you think about an organization, people are the most important part, and if they're thriving, your organization is thriving. So when you think about human sustainability, the more you can actually invest in your people, whether it's their well-being, their mental and physical fitness, their skills, their employability, human sustainability is a piece of cake.
Is applying that concept different in a public sector environment where you might be limited as to what you can invest in those employees compared to a private sector organization that can make its own decisions about how it does such?
Sure. We're actually, part of our study, we talked to over 14,000 professionals, both in public and private sector. Universally, we see the same challenges. So the interventions are very similar, the ability for leaders to influence is very similar, the needs of the workforce are very, very similar.
What are the things that you see organizations either in public sector or private sector doing that the other people could learn from?
Sure. Well, there's lots of things. When you think about technology disruption, right? AI is a hot topic right now. We want people to use their imagination. We want people to be comfortable. So employing the ability to give people space to play, we call that a digital playground. We also love the idea of people thinking about how to modernize not only the talent experience, but some of the cultural environments to support people's use of their imagination and ability to not be afraid of changing technologies.
So it sounds like a hearty endorsement, intentionally or unintentionally, for what Rob and I just talked about the work that they're doing on AI.
That's
providing
right.
Both broad best practices and recommendations and specific use case type recommendations. If you want to do this, this is a good way to do this, and so on.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. What's the extent of that provides value to organizations? How much detail can one get into before one is micromanaging rather than providing good high-level guidance?
Sure. So one thing we think about from a leadership standpoint is allowing, again, some freedom for people to explore. The other thing we think about is putting some parameters in place relative to the skills people may need for some of the changing work. The other thing we think about is transparency and trust around the data. So when you think about bringing people together to evaluate them, how they're doing, as well as the impact that they're having, giving them insight into the types of data that you'll collect, how you'll use it, and the impact it may have on them personally from a career standpoint is really important to building trust within that professional environment.
You talked about managers and leaders and the challenges they're telling you about. What are the employees telling you about the experiences they're having? This is a huge point of emphasis for the administration, the President's management agenda, what the employee experience looks like.
Yes, for sure. And as I said earlier, when people are thriving, organizations are thriving. And so, you know, a big part of our trends this year is all around human performance. And so again, when you think about the things that the workforce needs, again, whether that's a skill standpoint, the environment from a talent experience standpoint, the culture, some of the investments that we're making or an organization is making in them, it's critically important for their experience as well as that open and transparent communication.
We have about 30 seconds left. Based on what you've seen from dealing with your clients in the public sector, what can they do, or what should they do or do more of in order to provide that experience you just described?
A few things, I think. One, certainly embrace change, embrace the technology, but also do not forget about the human elements that are really important to people. Empathy, innovation, creativity, really important for organizations to support that environment overall. The other thing I would say is, again, transparency and trust. Bring your employees into the process to help allow them to understand where the organization is headed.
This is the worst possible question to ask at the end of a conversation like this, but how does someone build trust in organizations where maybe that has not been a hallmark in the past?
Yeah, I mean, it starts at the top. I think when you bring people in and help them shape a direction, a strategy, an initiative, you get that buy-in from the ground up.
Kristine, it's great to have you on the program.
Thanks so much
for your time today.